Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and another episode of Building Čakov. This episode was originally going to be focusing on the blacksmith burgage plot we've been working on, however several things have happened since the last episode. As mentioned in the first episode, Čakov itself was a good choice for representing a medieval Bohemian village due to various features we deemed interesting, with one of those factors being its interesting geographical features and landscape. With this in mind, we decided that creating all of the terrain in Čakov by hand would take too much time. In order to improve the quality of the project and save our sanity, we made the decision to recreate a 3 km by 2 km recreation of the terrain for use in the project. This is why it's been so long since the last episode, so we really apologise for this, as my time has been occupied by creating the terrain, but also working on the Artecraft tree repository. Speaking of, the trees are something we're excited to utilise on the Čakov project. Rusty has also been busy, travelling to Čakov in person to take pictures for the project as references, which have been showing in the background. High quality cadastral maps of the area dating back to 1826, courtesy of the Czech Surveying Office archives, gave us a good sense of direction for planning the project to achieve the highest level of realism possible, especially with annotating farm fields, forest, unworked natural land and roads within World Painter. Furthermore, maps created during the 18th century as a part of the Josephinian land survey helped reinforce interpretations derived from the cadastral maps, which showed obvious changes across a few hundred years. This was reinforced by modern day satellite imagery and pictures which, in reference to the cadastral and imperial mapping, helped me recreate a fairly accurate interpretation of how the geographical landscape may have looked around Čakov in the 15th century. Within the farm fields in particular, the field strips, we had to take some creative liberties in order for it to work and make sense, as across, a few hundred years, certain things didn't really make sense and we had to kind of make it up as we went along. However, we tried to minimize this where possible. Here you can see how the annotating process progressed across many months on the World Painter map, with forests in dark green, ridge and furrow fields in yellow, terrace fields in orange, rough roads and paths in brown, water in blue, common land such as roads, pastures and nature in grey, and unknown natural land in lime green. I will elaborate on these further into the video. This was done by overlaying the satellite map from the Czech Surveying Archives to block out a 3 km by 2 km to scale recreation of the terrain, which was then smoothed and ran through World Machine to create a finalised version with light erosion. The cadastral map was then overlaid onto the terrain in order to be traced. Details such as fishing ponds, streams and forests were blocked in first in order to form a base to build upon. Some creative liberties had to be taken, such as with field length near streams and other more natural features which due to erosion would change over time. As shown in the most recent version of the plan, there are various patches of woodland. Within the forest to the east, we aim to potentially build a quarry. We also plan to potentially build the ruins of Rash, which was abandoned after the plague. As there is nothing left of Rash, bar its name on the cadastral map, we will likely be taking inspiration from the ruins of Farvenschlag in southern Bohemia, Czechia, when we construct our interpretation of the ruin. As you can see on the World Painter render, the map consists largely of farmland. The majority of this farmland will be represented with ridge and furrow fields, something which was made possible on layered terrain thanks to custom brushes from Kong. His Twitter will be linked down below, so check him out. Ridge and furrow is something which was commonplace within farming during the Middle Ages, being formed by repetitive ploughing along a strip. Each strip was managed by one family, within large open fields held in common, and the locations of the strips were the same each year. The movement of soil year after year gradually built the centre of each strip up into a ridge, leaving a dip or furrow between each ridge. This dip allowed for adequate drainage on the fields during bouts of rain. The furrow often marked the boundary between strips. The farm strips around Čakov will allow for varying widths for the ridges, with some being much larger than shown in the example image. We expect some of the largest ridges to measure up to 30 meters in width. There will also be some terraced fields as a result of the terrain, as the fields are parallel to the slope as opposed to following it down. This is something which still exists in Čakov today, as shown in the picture taken by Rusty. Terraced fields were also something that you could find in Kingdom Come Deliverance. So as you can see, we've been super busy with Čakov, even if it has been a while since the last installment. I'm aiming to get the terrain finished as soon as possible so we can pace the village so far into it and carry on, however this will take time. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the video. We hope you have enjoyed this installment as well as the ones to come. Make sure to subscribe, like and comment down below. I also have a Discord server which you should totally join. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.